Good day everyone, my name is Vina Andrea P. Biglang Awa from BSE English 2A. So for today's video, we're gonna talk about the results annotations to Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas by Antonio Morga. So before we start, we have these two definitions of terms. First, we have the annotations. Let's define what is annotation. So annotation is a short explanation or note added to the text or image, or it is the act of adding short explanation and or notes. So annotations are explanatory notes or comments added to a text to provide additional information. It can be context or interpretation, so they can clarify meanings. It can offer insights, cite sources, or highlight important aspects of the main text. Annotation can be found in various forms, such as footnotes, endnotes, and marginal notes, or even in inline comments. So they are used in academic, literary, and technical works to enhance the reader's understanding and engagement with the text. So next definition is the successes. So successes is a work of an honest observer or versatile. So it is a bureaucrat who knew the working of the administration from inside. So successes is a word, comes from a Spanish word that translates to events or occurrences. So it refers to what I mean is it is a Spanish word. So successes is a Spanish word which means in English events or occurrences or happenings. So it refers to a notable happening or incident. So often of historical or significant nature, or in the context of, for example, in the context of Antonio de Morga's book, Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas. So the term specifically refers to the notable events and developments in the Philippine Islands during the Spanish colonial period as documented by Morga. So what is Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas? So Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas is written by Antonio Morga. It is published in 1609. So this book is an important primary source for the history of the Philippines, providing detailed accounts of the country, its people, and events during this time. So Morga's observations and narratives are valuable. So for understanding the early colonial period and interaction between the Spanish and the indigenous populations living in the Philippines. So now let us discuss who is Antonio Morga. So Antonio de Morga Sanchez Garay from 1559 to 1636. So he was a Spanish soldier, lawyer, and high-ranking colonial official for 43 years in the Philippines from 1594 to 1604, New Spain and Peru, where he was president of the Real Audiencia for 20 years. So he is best known for his work, Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas. So Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas means events in the Philippine Island. So it is again published in 1609. So Antonio de Morga is also a historian. This book that is written by Antonio Morga is structured into 8 chapters. So each detailing various aspects of the Philippines during the 16th and the early 17th century. So we have first the first chapter. The first chapter is Discovery and Conquest. So this describes the discovery of the Philippines islands by Spanish explorers and the subsequent conquest and colonization efforts. So the second chapter is description of the islands. So this provides a geographical and cultural descriptions of the islands, including their natural resources, climate, and customs, and the traditions of the indigenous people. The third chapter is the Spanish rule and administration. So it details the establishment of the Spanish rule, So the administrative structure and the governance of the colonies. It includes the descriptions of the various officials and their duties. So the fourth chapter is the religious missionary work. So this discusses the role of the Catholic Church in the colonization process, focusing on missionary activities, the establishment of parishes, and the conversions of the indigenous populations to Christianity. Chapter 5 is the local revolts and the resistance. So it narrates various revolts and resistance movements by the indigenous people against the Spanish rule. So including the notable upspring and their outcomes. So the sixth chapter is the economic life and trade of the Filipino people. It covers the economic activities in the Philippines, including agriculture, local industries, and the trade with other parts of Asia and the Spanish Empire. So it discusses the introduction of new crops and goods by the Spanish. So the seventh chapter is the social and cultural changes. So this explores the social changes brought by the Spanish colonization, including the impact of the indigenous social structure, culture, and daily life. So for the last for the last chapter, we have the notable events and personalities. So it highlights significant events and notable figures in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial period. So including battles, political developments, and key individuals who played important roles in the history of the islands. So these chapters collectively provide a comprehensive view of the Philippines during the Morga's time, making Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas a crucial document for understanding the early colonial history of the country. So that's all for this video. Thank you for listening.